Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of Positively Saturnine. In this episode, I'm going to ask the question: is Anil Kumble the forgotten hero of the 2003 Adelaide Test match between India and Australia? Now, from India's perspective, that Test match is known for Rahul Dravid's efforts, aided by Ajit Agarkar and VVS Laxman. But I'm going to analyze Anil Kumble's role in that match. Now, for some context, by 2003, Harbhajan Singh was India's first choice spinner when playing overseas. Anil Kumble had already been dropped for the 2003 World Cup final, and in fact, he was not picked for the first test of the 2003-4 Border Gavaskar Trophy that was played in Brisbane. Now, in that match, India started badly. Zahir Khan brought India back on the second morning with a 5 wicket haul. Saurav Ganguly scored a magnificent century to give India the lead, and rain ensured that the match was drawn. For the second test match, Zahir Khan and Harbhajan Singh were injured, so Irfan Pathan and Anil Kumble came in, and India went into the test match with the series still at 0-0. What happened next? Australia batted first and scored 400 for 5 on day one. Now, scoring 400 in one day is not that common in test matches now, and it was especially rare back in 2003. Now, by the middle of the second day, they were 556 for 7 with an 83-run partnership between Jason Gillespie and Ricky Ponting. What happened next, according to me at least, was the turning point. Anil Kumble took the last 3 wickets in a single over. Now, this was not declaration bowling and batsmen throwing their wickets away. These were proper wickets taken by a spinner on a flat pitch. Ricky Ponting was caught at slip of a top spinner that bounced more than he expected. Brad Williams was bowled by a flighted googly that missed his drive, and Stuart McGill was LBW to a fast Kumble special that went straight on. So 556 for 7 became 556 all out. Now, why was that Kumble over important? Now, before we go in, when India were 85 for 4 a few hours later, most people thought 556 was more than enough. But as we know, Rahul Dravid's double century, Laxman's century, followed by Ajit Agarkar's 6 wicket haul, and then Rahul Dravid's century meant that 556 was not enough, right? So in that sense, Australia looked all set for 600 or 650 plus. Now, what would have happened had Australia actually gotten those many runs? Everything else remaining the same, right? Which was not likely. I think had Australia gotten a much bigger lead, they would have batted differently in the second innings. India would have bowled differently in the second innings. But let's put that aside. If everything else remained the same, India would have been chasing 300 plus in the fourth innings, right? And the match would have likely been a draw, or India would have lost the match because they were already 6 down when they reached the target of 230, right? So the difference between 600 or 650 plus and 556 became really important as the match progressed. Now, what else did Anil Kumble do in the match? Now, I think these 3 wickets really set the stage, but let's look at some of the other things he did. He took 154 in Australia's first innings. Now, the other 2 wickets were that of Justin Langer, who was batting on 58 of 72 and was looking good for many more runs. And the other wicket was Andy Bickle, who was in a 47-run partnership with Ricky Ponting. Anil Kumble also scored 12 runs in a partnership of 41 with Rahul Dravid in India's first innings. Again, a very crucial partnership because, as I said, had the lead been 80 or 90 instead of 33, that match would have probably gone a lot differently. And then we come to the second innings. Now, the second innings is known for Ajit Agarkar's 6 wicket haul. It's also known for the 2 wickets that Sachin Tendulkar took of Damien Martin and Steve Waugh. But at 114 for 5, Simon Katich and Adam Gilchrist came together and they put on 69 runs. The score went to 183 for 5. Gilchrist was on 43. Another half an hour of Gilchrist could have once again put the match out of India's reach. The target would have been 300 instead of 230. Well, Anil Kumble came in and bowled Gilchrist round his legs with a googly. 183 for 5 became 183 for 6. And then Ajit Agarkar came in, mopped the tail, and Australia were all out for 196. Now, this is my verdict at least. The Adelaide 2003 Test match, from India's perspective, clearly belonged to Rahul Dravid first, Ajit Agarkar second, and VVS Laxman third. Now, ardent fans like me would even mention Sachin Tendulkar's leg spinners that got rid of Damien Martin and Steve Waugh in Australia's second innings. But really, if you think about it, it must be said, and it hasn't been said enough, that Anil Kumble set the foundation for all those performances. Those 3 wickets in 1 over in the first innings made the difference. Had he been bowling for a declaration, had he let his shoulders drop, that match would have gone much differently. So anyway, my verdict is Anil Kumble's role in that match must be given a little more thought than it has been. Now, what else did Anil Kumble do in the series? Remember, he was dropped for the first match. He played only 3 matches, and he took 24 wickets at just under 30. Now, if you look at that table, which is from ESPNcricinfo.com, the next best wicket tally belongs to Ajit Agarkar, 16. But look at the average, that's 37. The highest wicket taker for Australia was Stuart McGill, 14 wickets at over 50. And then Jason Gillespie, who took his wickets at 38. So Anil Kumble was head and shoulders above the rest, having not played the first match. He actually took 6 wickets in the losing cause in Melbourne and 12 wickets in Sydney. With a little more luck and much better fielding, he could have actually won India that match as well. Now, in closing, Anil Kumble retired in 2008 with 619 test wickets to his name and 1 test century. He also captained India in 14 test matches from 2007 to 2008. It was a turbulent time in India's history, in India's cricketing history. He was the captain between Rahul Dravid and MS Dhoni. And he himself has said in an interview with the Deccan Chronicle that the Adelaide Test match was a turning point in his career. So that's my argument. I remember thinking about that over even when the match was happening, and then when ESPN Cricinfo included that match in the greatest matches of the century, I read the report, and really Anil Kumble is I don't think is even mentioned as a footnote, and I think his role in that match must be given more credit. I'm going to put the scoreboard, the link to the scorecard in the description of the video. I'm also going to put a link to the full highlights of the match that has been posted by Cricket Australia. You can take a look at the role of Anil Kumble there, and it's an interesting thing when he takes those 3 wickets. It's actually Shane Warne who's doing the commentary. Shane Warne did not play the series, and Shane Warne actually talks us through those 3 wickets, and he also praises Anil Kumble for running in on a flat pitch. So I think it's fitting that when Kumble took those wickets, the great leg spinner Shane Warne was on commentary. So those were my thoughts. Let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree in the comments. I'll be back with a different video. Until then, stay safe and all the best.